Welcome back, everyone. Going to the second half here of Drop Frames. Let's talk about the big release this week, Deathloop. I think Jericho has played it. I read a ton of the reviews. Max saw a little bit of the Twitter chat. We'll talk about that, I guess maybe as a way to lead into this. The reviews for this game have been insane. There's been 10 out of 10s from a bunch of big publications out there. I've seen a handful of folk on Twitter, just other creators say this game is like definitely their game of the year so far. And then I've seen people say that like this game's shit. Like I don't know. I am curious as to why they're saying that. I don't know if they just don't like the mechanics, the loop, if it's not their style of game, if the AI is destroying their experience, because I did see a little bit of that from some of the streams that I watched in terms of you can just kind of like get everyone to go into a corner type situation. The AI won't necessarily help you out, but let's hear from the man who's played it rather. Jericho, you checked out Deathloop all day. I was watching your stream for a handful of it. I think you seemed to like it. You were enjoying it from what I could tell, right?
Yeah, so let me preface this by saying that I've been looking forward to Deathloop since they teased it, I guess, a year and a half ago at E3. Maybe it was even longer than that. I am a sucker for loop games. I love them. 12 minutes. They have their drawbacks, and there's definitely a lot of people that I guess have their problems with loop games. I saw people memeing that it was only 4 maps the whole game kind of thing, right? In my chat before I'd even started. The thing is that like I got to talk about probably why they think it sucks, right? The only thing that I could figure out might make somebody think the game sucks is I don't think the AI is smart. But that to me doesn't matter that much because I'm not playing a game like this necessarily to have like the greatest the greatest individual interactions with the AI. The AI is there for you to kind of use as an obstacle or, but it's not the focus of the game.
Right.
The game looks fantastic. It runs like shit on PC.
Does
I
it
think
really?
I think it's been locked down to the DRM program that they have is causing issues because it decrypts files live as you play. So I have a 3080, computer's good. I have to play on VSync on high settings, locked at 90 FPS. Is it bad enough that it was noticeable and I didn't like it the first 10 minutes that I played and then I forgot about it? Because this game really is fucking fun. It's the right level of silly. It ticks all the boxes with me wanting to go explore random areas and then finding a new pathway that goes behind something. You can cheese this game, I'm sure, right? Like if you're really trying to objectively like get in, get out, and speed run it, I'm sure that this game is not going to be the challenge that a lot of people thought it would be for this like immersive, very technical game. I think it's a lot of silly fun. I got addicted to kicking people with my mule perk, kicking them off the edge as I run past. They just go flying. The story itself, I like the characters a lot. They do a really good job with giving you context clues as to where to go, things to trust, not to trust. The writing is pretty fucking good. The gameplay loop. I can see some people maybe getting mad because there are segments where you'll just miss the timing, right? And you'll have to literally go through a whole day loop to get that opportunity again. But that's in every looping game, right? You're supposed to learn, hey, not a spoiler, but hey, the building burns down at this time. So I have to do this at an earlier run to make sure the building doesn't burn down, to get this code, to unlock the safe. But they make it as untedious as possible. They give you filter options that show exactly what can happen during that loop in this map at this time. They do a really good job of helping you figure out like what you need to do in order to unlock the next key to the puzzle here. And to me, that's the biggest thing that they've done well is that they've streamlined the ability for you to look at where you are in the story tree and say, oh, okay, well, let's wrap up this story and get all the info we need here. And then like, oh, let's start this one over here. It's not a lot of guesswork where you're like, let me get 9 minutes into this run or 20 minutes into this run and then just try so. Oh, that's not what it was. All right, time to waste some more time getting back to the start. So I'm really impressed by it. I think that they really desperately need to fix the optimization on PC, whatever it is, because that's stopping. I don't run gun and like slide around like that movement system that you'd associate with Apex Legends or Titanfall, which is like really imperative for a game like this, it doesn't feel as crisp as it should. So they need to figure that out. But I don't know how people could say it's a shit game because it really is. It grabbed me. And I'm looking forward to completing it.
Have you like I've heard a lot of and talked with some other friends who have played it that say it takes a while for like the game systems to become available, if that makes sense. Would you say that that's true? And if so, like what is a while, if you can estimate that? Like, do you feel that you've unlocked all the game systems?
No.
Really?
So I played 6 hours into the game. Right. And they definitely want you to kind of have it is a, I don't want to say it's a rogue light, but there's 4 maps, and each map has 4 separate times of day where things change, right? The places where AI are, the way that AI interact, the things going on in that map. So technically it's 16 maps.
Okay.
I guess we'll call it, right? Even though they're reskins of each individual ones. The first hour and 30 minutes, you think you're playing the game, but they're really just trying to walk you through how the game progresses and what to look for in order to progress the story. They do a good job at several points. Like pretty much all they give you is a blurb on what your goal is and one marker, right? The goal marker. So you get there, but while you're going through the map, you find a pathway and you hear an AI talking, and then they're giving you context clues about how to deal with something in another map at a different time. So like it's not as narrow and path oriented as I was expecting it to be, which is good, but it can lead, I'm sure, to some people being like, well, I feel like I just ran through this and all you wanted to tell me was now I can double jump. But in reality, like, yeah, rip the snow. But I think it was good pacing. And no, I don't have the best weapons in every class after 6 hours. I don't have all of the perks. I've only succeeded in killing 2 of the 7 main characters. And the system when you die and you lose things that you haven't saved up enough money to bring with you across the life loop mean that if I want to go back now after dying halfway through a loop or my loop ends, if I want to get their item, I got to do it all over again. And maybe I find a different way to kill them. But I struggle to think how you'd be bored with it because I just changed what I'm doing. Maybe I'm sneaky this run. Maybe I'm running and gunning. Maybe and I die a lot. It's pretty difficult in certain areas.
Is there a difficulty setting?
Not that I know of. No.
Okay.
I'm sure you can self gimp, and there's also things that are like overpowered, I guess. But again, like I'm not the type of guy who min maxes here. I love the idea that like there's really, if I want to go this way, like I can go that way, right? You see the marker. I'm like, I just don't want to fight all these people. I don't want to kill them. Fuck it, just jump down, run around. What's over here? There's another pathway here that I didn't know about. See, so I'm like, all right, now next time maybe I go this way instead. It's a really
Arcane's pretty good about that too, because they did that shit in Prey. And I think with people you saying like the AI, sure the AI is not that great, but it's not the main point of the game. It's like the same thing when you play like a Hitman game. The AI isn't that fucking smart. They're
that
there
is a
to
great
fill out the world.
That's true.
And kind of fill it out and add a little extra something to it, but that's not the main focal point. So yeah, maybe the AI isn't the greatest, but that's not like what they're focusing on. That's not the main meat of the game.
And I love Hitman, right? But in Hitman 3, been waiting for that game to come out. And in my playthrough, the final character, like the one that was supposed to be the hardest, she's got a bodyguard ever. She literally walked into a grape grinding machine and died in front of me. And then I was like, mission complete. And I was losing it. Like, I think people would take video games, rightfully so. You want a game to launch well and you want it to be good. But like, having a slightly janky AI or game mechanic doesn't ruin a game for me if it gives me the enjoyable pleasure of having certain moments where I'm like, haha, like that fucking was funny. Like an AI fell off the roof in front of me, completely unscripted, just accidentally and died in the middle of something. And it in a cutscene and I was losing it. It was great. So I liked it. But they should definitely try and fix the AI if they want it to be a serious game, I guess I should say.
Sure. One thing that I was pretty drawn to just from watching you play it, the voice acting seems on point. The characters are like really good, really well done.
Everybody's been saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that to be true throughout all the characters? Because I only saw you, I think Colt is the main character's name, and Juliana or Julianne Those are the only two ones that I like heard. Yeah. Are all of them of that level?
Caliber? Yeah, so you definitely hear the most voice acting coming from like the beer tabs. You can interact with the guitar. There's a bunch of shit that you can just interact with around here that and also gunplay is really good, surprisingly. It's not the best in the world, but it's important for a game like this. You want to have fluid gunplay. Sorry, so the voice acting is good. I think they wrote the characters well. I love Colt's voice actor. I love his energy, and he really does kind of convey the I don't know what the fuck's going on. I just want out of it. I haven't been close enough to some of the other characters to hear a lot of their lines, but they're all unique enough that they're tenant. Like one's crazy off the walls, loves fireworks. So you're like, all right, how do I blow him up with fireworks, or how do I, enjoy that side of things? So
yeah,
this looks good. I'm stoked to play it, especially since I know that it is Arcane. Even just watching it, it's like, oh yeah, you can tell this has like the bits from Prey written all over it. They have such a really good, like you said, attention to detail and style about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the art. I mean, I love this area that I'm in is not my favorite. I think it's something rock. There's one that's like, I think it's where your apartment is. I love the way they've got this like dystopian kind of like nouveau Netherland type. I like, it's just very, very bright colors, old architecture, brand new modern stuff. It's a fun place to fight in, and it's completely different from here, which is like the docks, the control room, everything like that. And again, like you can't put a price on me like climbing up to a window, not knowing anything that's going on, killing this guy, and later finding out that killing that character stops part of the progression in this warehouse that unlocks like a different path for me to take later on. Right. I was just like, hey, I'm going to kill this guy. So, and I actually kind of soft lock it here because the game doesn't want you to go that way, I promise. And I try for quite a bit. So
got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Have you, I don't think this is a spoiler, but there's a PvP mechanic to this game. Have you messed with that at all?
So not quite yet. I have only had one experience with somebody who was in there. You can turn it off if you'd like to. I don't know why you would. It's a really cool mechanic, and you only unlock it once you beat the game. So there's probably not a lot of people that can do it right now. But once you beat the game, you can basically load in as the antagonist, right? The Juliana, and you get put into games where you're chasing a real player out, or they can fight you. And so I haven't done that, and I've not experienced it outside of one time. You can do it after the tutorial. Oh, my bad. Sorry. I thought I must have misread it. It was like, you got to do something first. Either way, really cool mechanic. We'll see how I like it towards the end, but I definitely think that that's something that I like that idea of just being able to interfere with people's games if they would like you to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm curious to know, like, having played Dark Souls and like, that being the only thing where people can invade you, like what it's like in this type of a game when it comes to, sorry, when it becomes to like being an FPS and that process, it's got to be a little, I don't know. Like, does it tell you? Does it say like you're being invaded, or do you just like walk around and all of a sudden there's a guy who's just got his sights on you and you die? Right? Like I don't know what that's like.
So the mechanic is that basically at any point during a run, there's a limit at how many times it can happen during an entire day's loop. But at any point during an individual time segment, an antenna, a radar will pop up on your screen, and it'll be like a red dot like that, and it'll be like, hey, once you deactivate this radar, you're going to be hunted. But in order to leave that loop, so you can do it at any time, but in order to leave your loop and or leave that area and continue, you have to deactivate it and then run to the exit.
Oh,
you can
cool.
fight the person. The person doesn't have to kill you either. They can just do nothing.
Yeah.
If they want to. But you can then you leave, and it's a cool mechanic. But like I said, haven't done it enough to know if it's fun, frustrating, or worthless. It could be bad.
Cool. What type of guns do you unlocked so far? And you said the gunplay's good.
Yeah, so there's like the typical archetype of guns, right? There's a I'm really struggling here to get into this building. And it was very simple. I promised you.
I go to a different part of the VOD.
Yeah. I there's like enemies on the other side. But yeah, so this is like one of the abilities that lets you link up with everybody who's caught in that blast. Whatever you do to one does to all of them. So you could kill one and it kills three. There's pistol, shotgun, sniper, nail gun, which is suppressed, LMG, which is on her back. Each gun has like, blue rarity, purple rarity, and then legendary rarity.
Oh.
I have one legendary. No, I have two legendaries, and you get a unique weapon. This weapon that I'm holding, the Blam pistol, is one that is dropped from one of the main head people, one of the the main characters. So each time you kill her, she drops it, but it's got, special
is it always
buffs,
the same
etc.
gun, or does it have like different stats to it, or?
I've only killed this person twice so far, and they've dropped the same gun as far as I know. So but yeah, I like this. Does
that go in like your inventory for permanent, or do you have to go back and kill her to get it?
You can save items throughout your day loop or your death loop, but in order to do that, you need to collect. I guess we'll call them credits. They're like starts with an R or something. Basically,
Residium or whatever.
Yeah, you see Residium. You see like glitched out objects that look like they're in another dimension. You sit there, you suck them up, and then like gives you 750. You need like 8,000 to save one weapon.
Oh wow!
And you can also cash in perks that you get as you go, which will give you some extra credits later on. But it is virtually impossible unless you have a god run to save more than one item. Like it's just not. Look at this. I mean, push her into the poison. It's just like this. But like anybody who says it's not harder or anything, this room really caught me by surprise because I'm just trying to have fun. There's only 3 people down here, or so I think. I curb stomp a man, but then I get noticed, and it's probably the worst time of my life. I think I die 3 straight times and my loop ends because it's like. There's like 400 people in here. This is one of the main characters. He sets up like his mansion is like in a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. In each area that you go in, he's like the invader is inside like on Mars landing, and so all the enemies start coming at you, and you're like, oh, and I panic, and I'm like, fuck.
Huh. Okay.
And yeah, you die pretty quick. It's not. There's tons of health, and initially I was like, why is there health on every single platform? Because you need it. Because you will die.
Yeah. What are the penalties for death? In terms of like, I know you can die a certain amount of times and it'll like respawn you, but if you die, which is my favorite video game technical term, if you die, what's the penalty? Do you lose all your weapons and you have to go get your shit back, or like?
Well, when you die, if you die, one of like the perks that you get, I mean, come on, one of the perks you get off the start, which I don't think you can lose, it's like Death Defiance. You get to die and it'll rewind you back maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And you're good to go. And once that happens 3 times, your loop resets. You wake up on the beach. You're starting from scratch, no matter what, the same with nothing, as long as you have the stuff. Well, if you didn't save anything, at the end of each run, you get the opportunity to save stuff. But, yeah, I don't know. So. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of things they can do that's pretty good with this. I think that there's a lot of improvements they can make with performance that would make me enjoy the game even more. I don't think it's a perfect 10 out of 10 by any means, but it's definitely the most interesting game that I've played this year, or one of them, I should say. This is one of the Residium things. So, yeah.
It seems like that's what people are saying. That the gripe that some people have is just how many people are saying they're fucking 10 out of 10. Like when it seems more like, yeah, it's a solid game, but maybe not 10 out of 10 with like the little issues that it has. Plus, it's arcane too. Like Prey is so, in my experience, very well optimized and runs really good. So I'd be very surprised if they didn't fix it, whatever issues are happening. Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna check it out too. It's good to hear from you though, like as somebody who's played it.
Do you think the recommended platform as of now, if I wanted to play it tomorrow or whatever, would be PlayStation 5 and not Steam?
As far as I know, the PlayStation 5 does not have any performance issues, and as far as I know, it is confirmed that it's the anti-piracy software. Again, this could be wrong. I'm just going based off of from what people have told me who've played both PS5 stuff. I would also like to say that I can't imagine playing this game with a controller, as I'm more comfortable with keyboard and mouse, and it is at its heart kind of like an FPS, movement, quick, etc. And I don't believe the performance issues on my computer with what I've been playing. I don't believe. Look at how many people just know. I'm like,
Holy
oh
shit.
fuck, yeah. I'm like,
You've
so I
woken
don't
the
believe.
hive.
Yeah, I don't believe that it's bad on PC. I think that it was noticeable at first. You can do things to mitigate it, but it is probably fixable. That's what I got.
Okay. Huh.
Neat. Even speaking from like a streamer standpoint, these sorts of games, in my opinion, are some of the best to watch too. Because even if you've seen
It's all
somebody
different.
do,
Oh,
it's all different. Exactly. It's designed that way, and the shenanigans that each specific streamer gets into on their runs is like so cool to like. Oh, such and such did it this way. That's interesting. I haven't seen this area. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that creates
Yeah.
like a really fun game to stream and play at the same time.
well, and you do have, again, the other side of it is like you do have a storyline that is easy to follow, and everybody will take the same storyline. Yeah, so everybody will take the same storyline, but
Died.
you will not have the same experience getting to that point. And I know people are getting mad at me because they had already watched their Dan or whoever, their favorite streamer, play through the intro and stuff, and I'm like walking around looking at the fucking carpeting in the building. I'm like, oh, it's so cool. You know what I mean?
That's me.
So-
Yeah,
Wait,
that's me
hold
too.
on. You play like I play? That
I love
I never expected that.
games like this where like I'll see a cave, and in any game I'm like, well, somebody spent a day and a half coding this. For what reason? Let me
Yeah.
go see what's on the
Mhm.
shelves. I
Thank
love looking
you.
at like
Wow.
the bookshelves, like seeing what the names of books and magazines are and stuff. That's fun. Well, that's where people
Man,
have
why
fun
aren't we
with it.
like best friends? We should be best friends, I think.
All right, it's starting right now. Starting right now.
Did you play Returnal?
I don't have a PS5.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay. I forgot. I
Shove
forgot.
that
I
right
honestly
back in
just-
his face.
I
That-
honestly forgot it was an exclusive. I did. I swear to God. I'm sorry.
That one was high up on my list of games that I did want to play, and it still is, even though I know it got pretty meh reviews, but I think I will play it when I get a PlayStation 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I absolutely loved Returnal.
I would say
and,
they're
I was
quite
wondering
different.
I was wondering if there was
Yeah.
a similar feeling there.
I,
But
Returnal's so much more like Bullet Hell. From the 5 or
Oh.
6 hours that I've watched of this is very much like Dishonored. I had it described to me in a very succinct way. They said it was Dishonored with 12 minutes and Dark Souls. And like
Okay.
pulling different elements from those three games and
I-
making one game. And it's like, oh, okay. I get it.
I could see the Dark Souls moment, like, but again, some of like this room is probably the most trouble I had in the playthrough. But like there were moments where I was running my ass into like landmines that were all over the floor that I'd be forgetting about. Like you'll die in silly ways just because the game it's like I said, it's not as gritty or serious. It's like it's almost like Borderlands type writing.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
it's
it's very
got a
much
story,
arcade.
but it's
If you played
Yeah.
Dishonored or you played Prey, one of the more recent games, it's very much that. Like I got a lot.
I don't think they
of
go
that.
as far as Borderlands, but there's still that like tongue in cheek, and they don't take everything super serious, which is nice.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Cool.
I will probably check it out. I don't know. I
This
kind
is
of want to play
out
it off
now,
stream.
or-
Yeah, it's out.
I
Okay. I didn't know if
I
it was
would
like a early preview or beta or whatever.
Nope, it's out.
no. I would highly recommend if you stream that you should play this game. I think that it is pretty much universal content, and then I think you would enjoy it off stream too without the pressure of like running through your loop. Just taking things as you want. But yeah, no, I think you'd like it at some level. You'd like it.
Yeah. The idea that you said the PS5 is arguably the best version of this. Ever since I got this
Currently.
giant TV, I'm very much swayed to play a PS5 game than I am a PC game because 20 inches from a 48-inch TV
Yep.
is a little bit rough. I get a little dizzy sometimes if I'm playing an FPS.
Yeah,
on
when I saw
thing.
that damn TV, I was the screen. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
I was playing Destiny last night and like 5 minutes of Destiny and I wanted to throw up. And I don't get like nauseous or anything from video game movement ever. I was just too
Destiny
fucking
movement
close.
always kind of fucks with me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was just too
something about the
close.
camera.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if the setting options are available on PlayStation, but the head bob in this game is so rough. Like I dropped that
Really?
to 0. I mean, at 100, it's like you're drunk running. Also motion blur, very intensive. So I don't know if they have the ability to do that on PlayStation, but
it's the Bethesda mainstays.
One of the first things I noticed when JP put up the video was like the two hands like going like this, like it's really like super distracting.
Yeah.
Can't imagine what the head bob with that would be like.
Oh yeah, I just don't, just would not, highly wouldn't recommend it. I mean, I spend like I turn it off immediately, so you're not going to see me.
Yeah, I was trying to
literally. I load in and I look at and I move and I'm like, yep, we're changing all of it.
Just gotta do that. Yeah.
Start the game.
No, you gotta skip forward like wait, is it? Maybe I did. Yeah, skip forward like another minute. Just use your right arrow key 4 times.
Oh, does that work? I've never actually. Oh yeah, look at that.
It gives you 5 seconds. Yeah. All right. So, oh man, I get in. I think it defaulted to Ultra. 3080 is what I have. I do only have air quote i7. This is like this is a cutscene. Just that's the main antagonist, I guess. It doesn't give you any info. You're just like, okay.
She just kills you.
Stab the shit out of you.
Yeah, and he's just like, that's not good shit. And I was like, it's one of these
really
games.
Good. I really like the character models.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that's not the standout. I'd say the character models tend to be the least impressive. The scenery and the setting looks like it's got that almost like photorealism, like texturing that you'd see on rocks. And I mean, the ray tracing's on in this. So,
okay.
But yeah,
God,
I wonder if I move.
Pretty.
So this is what you see every time you die or every time the night comes to an end and you get up and you're like,
your character in game, like in the setting, they have no idea what the fuck is happening every single time you do a loop.
No, they do learn.
Like you, the player, know that you're on a new loop, but the player, like the actual character itself, is it supposed to be like? Is there any retention story wise?
Yeah, there's retention story wise, and I won't give away any info on it.
But I was just curious how much they like spread it out, or if
limited FPS is capped at 120. By the way, there is no uncapped, which is always one of those like very weird things.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, changing the thing that I was trying to, you can't see it because OBS, stream stuff. When I'm standing here doing this, the rocks, like the way that the background was moving was jagged. It was like I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, but it wasn't screen tearing. It was specifically like the assets in the back were not moving smoothly compared to everything in the foreground.
Weird.
So I was like, I don't know, and I couldn't figure out a way to fix it. So VSync on kind of helps.
Huh.
But yeah. I mean, I spent.
Well, it's good to know that I have to play around with a bunch, that there's these things. So just play around for a little bit before, going through properly.
Yep.
Any idea how long the game is? For like
not
a normal playthrough? Okay.
I would say if I had to guess, I'm 1/3 of the way through. I'd say it's probably a 12 to 20 hour game, depending on how. I'm also leisurely playing on some
longer
settings.
For if you're doing it. Yeah.
I looked up how long to
if you're inspecting carpet and stuff, it might take a little longer, right?
Yeah.
It seems short for a $60 game, but 14 hours main and extras 20. So
so I was pretty.
That's how long to beat, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Right. The game is designed at its core at some point to be speed runnable. And I think I would like to play it. I think with these games, I want to play it and enjoy it at the front, and then if I'm inclined to it, I'll go run it back and I'll like play quickly and however I want.
Yeah. Cool. Max, I know you're gonna probably stream some of that, right, Max?
Yeah, I'll be playing that probably within the next day or so here.
Yeah. Zeke, is that an offline game?
I think so. Yeah. I think that's going to be a game that I enjoy on my own, and I do a lot of exploring and take my leisurely time.
Yeah.
Not that I don't do that on stream, but even fucking
as
more
opposed to the high octane, fast paced action.
Yeah, right. Galaxies are born and die by the time I get done with fucking games.
Max, let's talk Life is Strange. We both did a sponsored stream for this. I'm pulling up footage of it here. Also, do they spell colors in the British way How do they
I think
spell
the
it?
regular way.
Okay, it's the regular way. Jeez.
I think the regular, correct,
The
proper
American way,
which means it's correct.
Yeah.
I think it's an American way.
Now, Max, historically, did you play the other Life is Strange? I only played the first one. I skipped the second one.
I played the first one. I did not play. I did the same as you. I played
Okay.
the first one, and I did not
All right.
play the second one.
Just so I think we mentioned already, but we both did sponsored streams for this. Just so that's out there before we get into the conversation. But I didn't necessarily mind this. I thought this was okay. I played on the PS5,
I enjoyed it.
And it was locked at 30 FPS, and sometime it dipped below 30 FPS, and I've been told that that's the same on all consoles. And I'm seeing here that this is clearly not 30, and you played the PC version. Is that correct?
Oh no, it was 30 frames. You poor soul. Yeah, no, it's good on the PC. I didn't have any issues with that at all. The frame rate was great. You could turn off the cap too, I believe, or at least turn it up really, really high.
Yeah.
I was just staggered with this game, just how fucking pretty it is.
It was, dude. Yeah. You get into this area in Colorado. I forget the name of the town, but it's like, I want to go there. Like, that looks peaceful.
Yeah, I kept
It's very
telling
serene.
chat, like, do you guys
Colorado's
know?
great. Just letting you know.
Yeah,
It's great.
do you know some places in Colorado where it is like this little town? I lived there for a bit, but I never actually like wandered out to a small, sleepy little town. I don't know if there is one like so picturesque like this where it has just the perfect little lake right in the middle of the town. You know
Why
what I mean?
is it that every one of these fucking look, I live in a homie town type places walks into like the sickest industrial barn loft like ever?
Yep.
It looks like Hey Arnold's
yeah.
room, and he pays for it off of like a bar tab, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, where do you guys get all this
I mean,
stuff?
She even remarks like, "Holy shit, this is sick!" Like that it's really, really nice. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
When I saw it too, I was like, "Holy fuck, this is so dope!" And it's even better. It's first of all, it's on the town's bar, the Black Haven,
The Black Lantern.
Of course it is.
Black Lantern Haven is the name of the town. That's what it is, right?
There you go. Yeah. You're right.
And so there's the bar, and then there's the loft-like apartment above it that you end up, being able to live in. And it has a fucking rooftop with like gardening, and it's got this beautiful view, this picturesque view of like all this river and lake and stuff. And I'm like, who lives here? I'm like, if I had internet, I'd say fuck Austin and just live there.
Yeah. I was saying the same exact thing. It's gorgeous. I definitely got that the entire way through. There's your brother's girlfriend. Yeah. Girlfriend works at a weed shop.
Yeah.
And they just, it's just very much California, right? Like it's exactly what you would expect to occur in California. What you're seeing here, by the way.
High.
Well, no, he's not high. You are an, what? Not a motive. What is the Max? What's it called? What are our powers called?
You're an empath, essentially.
Yeah. So you can see other people's feelings, and at least in the beginning of the game, I don't know if this changes, but you experience their feelings as well. So if someone is angry, you get angry, and bad things happen because of your anger. Like you have to act on that anger in a lot of ways. It becomes overwhelming. So
that's like the power. Yeah, you can tap into like what people are actually truly feeling, and in game mechanic wise, like you can also kind of hear like what they're saying. Like what their inner thoughts are, like their monologue about whatever situation's happening. And it also is attached to objects as well. You can feel like a emotional imprint, I think as they call it, or whatever.
Yeah. On
any object not any object, but relevant objects as you're going through and playing through the story. Pretty neat. Pretty cool.
So the best part about this game that I'm sure Max wants to talk about as well is as streamers, they have a DMCA setting within the options.
Yeah.
And if you have played a Life is Strange game, they like to use licensed music in very important cutscenes and or things of that nature. In this game, they do not replace the licensed music.
They do not.
Hoping you'd say that.
And let me tell you, it might have been the cringiest 2 minutes of footage I think I have ever put on this channel. Maybe I can pull it up here. And
is that the one where they're in the
room like rocking out?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's also one where she sings Radiohead Creep and by herself, and it's just her like playing the guitar, singing, and you don't hear any of it at all.
However, now you know how like any episode or movie or whatever that has a scene filmed in a rave or a dance club or something like that, you know how they feel because they're all just like nothing, silence.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, I know how much it costs to license music for games, right? And like even and it just makes no sense. Like I have to, if I was ever on a dev studio, I'd just be like, hey, so is this going? If we replaced it with a song people don't know, is it going to make an impact still? Yeah, okay, we're gonna save $50,000. Like stop.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Who do you think you are? I am. Damn it, right. I put that as a reaction thing for stuff now. It's beautiful.
Yeah. No, I watched you make it. Okay. So there you go. I think the song, they actually have some like Radiohead's in here. Kings of Leon is in here. Like they've got some well-known bands that they play. There's no music playing right here when you watch.
Right now, there's nothing happening.
And that's why
let's all stop talking and let's enjoy. Oh,
I mean, Max did what I did. I had to pause because it was paining me so much to like watch. But
you need the background, like.
Yeah, no, that's the thing too. Is like the sound effects are in there still too, so you can you can hear like the little pitter, like their feet like hitting the ground and stuff, and like the little sound effects to it.
Tell me you guys have seen the like the Creed, like where they take the music out of the back and they fill it in themselves.
Yeah.
And they fill in the singing and stuff. God, I wish they would have done that with this.
This
so you just hear bad. Like a tank.
Nothing right
tank,
now.
Like one drum.
You hear him shuffling his little feet.
Yeah, you just hear him moving around. They did put that in there. It's real bad. I was playing, the other thing that they have is like, this is in other games as well, but I was playing it so the audience made all of the choices that the game allowed them to make. And so this is one choice right here.
Twitch integration?
Yeah. With the Twitch extension, this one right here is, do you want to play air guitar or not? And chat, of course, chose air guitar. And it's real bad because there's no music. It's just this.
Again, you just hear like just the noises of the
broom, 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 broom,
dead quiet.
Broom, broom.
And it like this scene probably plays fine if they're listening to actual Kings of Leon, like for anyone that's playing this game normally and not streaming it. But man, without it, it just is a fucking bummer. It is a straight up bummer.
I mean, the other side of it is it creates this us talking about it, you know what I mean? And kind of an awkward but entertaining moment. But I would like to actually be able to listen to that music because it does add something to those scenes and stuff. Especially, I would say the scene where she's, I guess, covering Creep.
Yeah, it's like an emotional moment in the game. Yeah. Here's a little bit of the powers that kind of come into play.
There's like this dude's like pissed off at your brother because he believes that he's been messing around behind his back with like his girlfriend who works at like a shop in town.
Yeah, so you can kind of see what happens.
See like anger emanating off of him.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The other big thing about this is I think Life is Strange 2 was episodic. I know Life is Strange 1 was episodic. This is like all 5 chapters are out. There's no waiting. You can just play the game in full.
That's cool. I'm glad they did that because I didn't know that actually going in, and then I was looking at like the breakdown of stuff with the game. Like, oh, good, it's just like a finished game. That's cool.
Yeah, but if you've played a Life is Strange game, you kind of know what to expect, and that's like a giant, wild turn of events. This game has one, and it's the type of shit where you just don't actually see coming. Like, I knew that there had to be some crazy twist in this game. I got to it and I was like, oh, I didn't expect that. I didn't know that was going to happen type situation.
He's about to beat his ass.
Yeah. And that's where I stopped my playthrough at the end of chapter 1, but it definitely goes places. And I think it goes to that place. like I believe the act that I'm referring to is the catalyst for kind of the majority of the game. I don't think you had a different situation, right, Max? I'm talking around it, so don't say what actually happened, but that happened for you as well, I'm assuming?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay. It all kind of like leads into that situation then, and I think it's the catalyst for the rest of the game. But it's a lot. It's Life is Strange, ultimately. If you didn't like the other two, I don't know if this game's going to be the one to sway you. But if you did, I've had a lot of people on Twitter and people that were in chat say that this was their favorite one of the series so far. So they seem to have kind of figured out the best way to present these stories in that manner. And I enjoyed what I played from the 3 to 4 hours that I played.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I'm probably going to go back to it to finish it up. Because these games are not like typically too long either.
No.
Like I paid maybe 2.5 chapters ish, maybe a little less than. I got into the second chapter because some crazy shit happens, then it goes into the second chapter, and then I played a bit into that. But yeah, I mean, like you said, I think they've kind of like just tightened up how they do these games, and now visually too. I think it was Unreal 4, right? That they made this in. Someone was saying.
Yeah, I
when
believe
I was
it.
playing it. Pretty sure it's Unreal 4.
Yeah.
And it looks so nice. Get in touch with your emotions. Try it. Play it.
There you go.
If you want.
True colors. Zeke, what have you been playing outside of the Indie Sunday?
Nothing.
Let's see here. Oh, you're still doing Shadowrun. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
How's Shadowrun progressing?
It's great. It's a wonderful game. The writing in it is kind of like the shining point of the game is the character development, the writing, the story, stuff like that. That's what makes this game with similar mechanics stand out from other games, or that's what makes this game stand out from other games with similar gameplay, battle mechanics, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because those are standard. They're good. They're pretty straightforward. They're not too complex, which I dig. I go from playing Pathfinder on my own time to playing this, and I'm just like, just a sigh of relief when I can play Dragonfall, because like I know what I have to do in Dragonfall. And Pathfinder, I'm like, all right, it's my turn. Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got 70 options. Let's pare that down to 35 if we can. With this game, it's like, do you want to shoot him? Do you want to get close, or do you want to heal? Okay, pick one. Good. There you go. Which I like.
Cool.
But the gameplay is, or the story is very, very Shadowrun, very there's betrayals, there's twists and turns, there's side stories that you can do. I particularly like the squad you have. Each has it seems like each of them is going to have their own little hey, can you help me out with this? Like one of them has a debt that he has to pay, and it's like, there's a way I can do the debt, but it involves doing a run. Like, oh, you don't say. It involves doing a shadow run? Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we go out and we do his thing, and then we get back to the main terminal, and another guy's like, hey, I've got a run that could help solve my problem. So you're like, wow, okay, good. So I love it, but the stories within those are very well done. I enjoy them. I can't imagine how huge this game, or more huge, I guess, this game would have been if it had voice acting all the way through.
Sure.
Because there's zero voice acting in it. It's all just words. But if they got a good voice acting team or whatever, I think it would have been a fucking even more legendary than it already is.
Yeah.
Not that I don't mind reading the voice, because I love it. I love giving stupid voices to character models that do not match. It's one of my favorite things. So I'm having fun with it.
Cool.
I don't know how far along I am in it, as far as story wise, or percentage of completion.
Yeah.
But it feels like I'm probably near halfway, maybe. But I'm looking forward to it. Every day I get to play it, I look forward to it.
Nice.
Great game.
I forgot last show you mentioned that you're going to be doing a little bit of a
Shadowrun
sponsor
Dragonfall.
Yeah,
Shadowrun Dragonfall is the game I was playing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I forgot to do a little sponsor stream for UnMetal as this came out.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of trailers for this. It's very much a spoof on the Metal Gear saga in a lot of ways. How was was this full release? How long did you spend with it? Did you finish it?
No. They released to most of the sponsored people who are doing sponsored streams of this. They're first of all, there is a playable demo if you want to play it on Steam.
That's what it was. It was demo
through chapter 1. What they gave to streamers like me, I assume that everybody got the same thing, but you could go up through chapter 3. It is not released yet. It is going to be released on the 28th of this month. So in like 2 weeks or so. But they gave us a little bit more content to show off that you can't get from the demo.
Yeah.
And the really cool thing that I enjoyed, lots of cool things about the stream. One, you may see the character models to my left and above me. I was actually joined by the community. Oh fuck! What was this? What does he want me to call him now? He's a Jack LaFear. He's like a jack of all trades, like publicity person.
I was gonna say
for the game. Game creative assistant is his official title.
Huh.
So he's the game creative assistant. I'm not on the video. You don't point there. Anyway, down in the game, that's him to my right, and then above me is Novus, who's the voice of Jesse Fox in the game.
Huh.
Nice. That's the name of your character. So we had him, and he would do his own like voice periodically, but more often than not, he played the entire like stream as Jesse Fox. I would ask him questions about what was happening in the game, like, why did you choose this? And he's like, and he totally played along, improv the whole thing. It was a very, very fun stream. I had a blast with it.
Nice.
But the game itself it's a wonderful, wonderful like humor spoof on the Metal Gear series. There's tons of different like inside jokes, references, shit that like video game players that are I don't know, like how old would you say is the Nintendo age? Like 30s?
I'd say 30-ish.
30? Sure.
Yeah.
So anybody like who remembers like the Nintendo era, the 8-bit Nintendo era, there's lots of stuff in there for you. Lots of references, lots of jokes, lots of gags. But also they have some 80 plus. I'm just going to say, I don't know the exact number, but 80 plus voice packs from different people, like Twitch streamers, YouTubers, content creators.
Huh.
Like I did one, like there's like, I know another person who did one. There's a lot of different names. If you watch Twitch at all, you'll probably recognize a few of them. They're all unlocked, and you can unlock them on the fly. So you don't have to like just do it at the beginning and stay with it. You can just pause the game, change the voice pack, and listen to other people do it. But it's like they all did. We all did. I think probably the same lines. Like there was 19 or 20 or something like that lines of like ancillary side characters. I'll just give you an example. Like one of them is in the hospital, and the line is, "Doc, it hurts." And they said, like, just say whatever you want. Like, this is the situation. This is the line before it, and blah, blah. So, like, you'll hear me go, like, "Oh, my God, it's so bad." And then, because she responds, like, "Please don't try to talk. Your jaw's broken." So it's, like, hard you can't understand it, whatever.
Sure.
But everyone has their different takes on it, and it's very funny to listen to, like, all the familiar voices of friends of mine and people that I've watched do their own, like, take on the voice lines and stuff. So that's a fun aspect of the game, but it's actually a fun game to play. I didn't get all the way through the 3 chapters because I just was fucking around and bullshitting with Jack and Novus the whole time. But they were like, yeah, the first chapter is probably like 40 minutes. Second chapter is like maybe like 45 and 2.5 hours. I think it's probably going to be a full stream for me. And it did. It ended up being a full stream for me. Because I would stop, put in a new voice pack, let people listen. Like, they would, like, the people who did the voices would come into the chat and be like, "Oh, hey, I'm here." Like, okay, let's listen to your voice lines real quick. So we listened to a few of them and that kind of stuff.
Cool.
It was a hell of a lot of fun. It's really like it's written kind of in a sort of like airplane movie.
Oh yeah.
It's a spoof. It's like a farce. It's written sort of like that with lots of like jokes said very seriously. And it's I can't wait for it to come out. I'm gonna play it immediately day one when it comes out, and that's saying something because what else comes out on that day? There's a couple things. But the one I'm excited about is Outer Wilds DLC. But I'm gonna bump that to play some UnMetal.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
Big game. Big game. What? So this is a demo. What are they asking for the actual game? Is that like 20? Something like that?
I think I was not told. I think I asked that question, and I'm not sure yet. It doesn't say on Steam yet.
They don't know? Okay.
So I'm not sure what they're going to be asking for it. I think Jack might be in my chat, and he can tell me like yay or nay.
Cool.
Yes, no. I'll let you know if he hears me.
Sure. Makes sense.
It's not public. We'll announce it very soon. Okay, cool.
There you go. Looking around on everyone's channels. How's Hades going, Jericho? Still trucking along?
Yeah, I took a little bit of a break. I played Road 96 recently, which was
Is that
oddly
indie
enough,
game?
yeah, sponsored by Omen, like the computer company.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It was not like a flawless game, but it's kind of like a find out more and more about what's going on in the world as you play through sort of procedurally generated, aspects of it. I think it's worth a play. I can't remember if it's free to play or not, but it was a fun one.
I don't think it is.
And then, yeah,
I saw a few other people playing it too, and it seemed interesting.
Yeah, and then I mean, we've been in a huge drought with games, so I've been playing. I played a couple of those FMVs or whatever they're full video movie, FVMs, whatever it's called.
FMV, full motion video.
Yeah. So I did. There's like a pack of 5 of them. The Nightbook, the Complex, like those are fun, casual things to just sit down and play.
Yeah.
And then I played Golf Club Wasteland.
Yeah.
Recently,
so I've seen a lot of trailers for this.
Big fan.
It looked to be It looked to be like a golf game that also had like some weird shit going on behind the scenes. Is that an accurate portrayal of this?
It is a very it is kind of a golf with your friends, right? But absurdist thing. I wouldn't even say it's that hard, but the soundtrack is fantastic. I'm talking like this game might as well be a game where you listen to it and you do something while you're listening to the soundtrack, right? And it's play this golf game. There is a backstory. It's about 3 hours to beat it. I was pretty blown away by how good the background radio and music was. It was really great.
Cool. Let me I don't think there was anything else that caught my eye in terms of, like you said, it's been a little bit of a
Dice Legacy was another one.
Yeah, I know you played Dice Legacy, Max, and I was actually watching you play that. I left earlier on because you wouldn't click the help shit on the left.
I did click it. Yeah,
okay.
I eventually got there. Okay.
You were like, "How do I roll these dice? What's going on?" And chat was like, "Max, click the fucking help shit."
I was having a streamer moment. Okay, we've all been there, and if you say you haven't been there, you're a dirty liar.
No, we've all been there, 100%. How'd the game turn out?
Pretty neat. Like I played it for probably about like 2.5, maybe 3 hours. The idea is that you're on this kind of like Halo-esque ring. You're like settlers or people that got there. You don't know how you got there. There's like mysterious stuff that's going on there, and you're trying to survive. But the whole game the game mechanic runs through dice. Essentially, each die is like a class of like, so you start with yellow, which is like peasants.
Yeah.
And then on every side of that die, it can roll and become either like an actionable thing for like crafting something or like hunter-gatherer kind of stuff. And those only fit in certain slots. Yeah, on the different white things that I'm dragging them into. They'll only work for certain things. So like that other one up there is like by the tree is to harvest wood. That can also be used on like a food hut, and then these die, and down below you can see the numbers. They have so much like kind of life to them before they either need to be like rejuvenated and brought back up. So you take like a die that's almost about to break, which is essentially a peasant or one of your people dying.
Yeah.
You can bring them down to like the food thing and then like bring some food that you've been making to bring that die back into, you know, a better situation with a higher number on it. And so like that blue die there is like more like police or whatever, you know, like an enforcer kind of thing. The green is more like just a regular civilian. So it's like these different class systems. It's a really neat game, and the whole while you're pushing forward and advancing forward because you do deplete the resources as you go through on this like ring world, Halo-esque ring world. And then there's fucking people you'll discover as you go through, like, oh, we've come across this camp or whatever this is. These people regard us this way. They seem a little shifty or whatever. Depending on how we, you know, engage with them, maybe we'll be able to trade. There's definitely something here. Or you'll have just people that are straight up trying to attack you who, you know, live wherever the hell this is. It's framed essentially like you don't know why you're here. And you were essentially elected kind of like you were made leader because you were the one who just kind of took initiative. So you're now like the king of this civilization, you know. It's really neat. I think you'd like it too, Zeke, if you've never seen it, just by nature of what I know about you. So it's not so much like rolling die in terms of like, oh, I got a 15 on this, I'm yay. It's it uses dice, but in a different kind of way. It's kind of neat. Initially, It took me a little bit to figure it out and exactly how it worked, just because I was kind of sleep deprived at the time. Obviously, I didn't click on the goddamn help shit. But it's cool. Give it a look. I won't ramble too much about it, but if what you're seeing on screen and what I've said even just a little bit seems interesting to you, check it out.
Cool. I know you also played some Icarus. You and the late shift. How's that? We've talked about it a little bit. We actually watched you burning, or rather, we watched Burke burn down the house while you were AFK. That was one of our favorite clips that I think kind of came from that stream.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah. How is
Icarus is pretty neat.
How was it?
It's still another weekend. It's still whatever, like,
right? To play.
Yeah, they've been doing betas where like little weekend kind of snapshots where they're doing tests and stuff. So it's definitely not a fully fleshed out game yet. They've been slowly kind of drip feeding and testing their different, like, we haven't seen yet a different biome other than the forest one that they've dropped, but they did the regular one surviving, you know, in that area. And then the next weekend they did another one, or a couple days later they did another one, where they added in like the storm system mechanic that they have, because they'll have like some gnarly storms that come through that actually like will fuck up your stuff. And there's crazy wind and lightning storms that can catch your stuff on fire. So it is a survival game. I think in the actual game, correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, if you know more, but the idea is it's like a badly terraformed planet that you're coming to, and you have to like go there, survive, and then there's some objective about it. And you have a certain amount of time to do that and then get out. But as far as like the actual game, it's a survival game, right? You get down there, you have crafting trees and tech trees. There's a decent amount there that you can explore, and they've been, you know, adding more through the different beta tests. Eventually it's going to go into different biomes. So it'll be like, you know, maybe like a snow plant or something like that. I don't know exactly which ones they have planned out, but so far, it's pretty cool, but there's a limited amount. You hit a wall eventually where you're like, all right, well, I've explored all there really is here. I could keep progressing and build more stuff if I want to. But yeah, you guys saw probably one of the more entertaining aspects of it is just like surviving some of the fires that will happen in the forest or set by Burke, because we built this house made of thatch because that's all we could do at the time. And Burke decided to stand in a fire and run inside the house. And now the house is on fire. And we have to use these like little whacking sticks to kind of like, you know, stomp out the fire.
Yeah.
It's cool. It is neat though. I'm not going to say it's like the most unique thing I've ever played, but it's a little too early to tell, like on a grander scale, if it stands apart from a lot of other survival games. But if you like that type of genre of game, you know, try the test if you can get into, you know, like the beta or whatever. Very pretty too as well, and the actual weather effects and stuff for when. Yeah, it runs pretty well.
Cool.
At least for me, it was. I mean, sometimes it's hard for me to like speak to somebody who doesn't have like a 3080 or something like that as a streamer, but from what I saw, it worked pretty well.
And then I've seen you play this a lot. I've seen a lot of the late shift play this. Talk to me about this game.
For the King.
Like, this seems pretty good.
It is. It's not even like a really new game either. From what I understand too, it's been around for a bit, and then it kind of like resurged as people found out about it, or maybe they updated some stuff. I'm not sure. But For the King is dope. So basically, it has all the elements of like D&D and stuff in it. Obviously, you're exploring, and you can play 3-player co-op. It's like D&D light, but there's enough sophistication and stuff there where you're feeling like, okay, I can do this, and you know this person's immune to being dazed and stuff, and you highlight over stuff, and there's a decent inventory system. If you're even remotely interested in that kind of a game, like D&D wise, it's pretty fun. And yeah, you have like dungeons and stuff you go into. You loot together. You can choose to share it amongst the party. You have like that little tinder pouch thing that essentially your camp that you can set up to replenish and get your action points essentially that you see above, and those other hexes just above like the bottom there.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. You would like it, I think. It's definitely fun, especially if you have like a couple buddies who would be into this. And
how does this work if you don't have two other friends? Like, does it just use AI?
So you can play this by yourself too, and you just control the other characters. It works like that. They just become like essentially you're a part of your party, and you can control what they do. But yeah, it very much goes by kind of Final Fantasy sort of encounters. So everybody gets like a turn, kind of thing, and you can affect the turn order based on. Or I'd say I daze this guy. His at the very top during the battle, you'll see his thing go back. So you can still use your D&D tactics and things like that. Like, all right, this guy's going to be weak to this shit. Bet he's out for. So you can talk amongst your buddies and be like, all right, I'm going to hit him with this. Then you do this. No, don't damage this guy. Focus this guy because you'll do more damage on this one. This one's going to negate your armor, piercing and stuff. So it's cool. I like it a lot. Cool little game. It's also available on Switch too. So it's a perfect little game to carry around with you. I think they had it on sale too for like $9 on Switch. I don't know if it still is, but it was on there. I can't speak to what it is right now.
Yeah, I'm pulling up it. It's $20
there you go.
on
Now
Steam.
You got a little fight.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm.
It can be very brutal too. We were playing on the more forgiving, like kind of beginner-esque setting because we were told the other ones they're pretty brutal. So even though it's like looks kind of like cutesy or whatever, like it's not. If you put it on a little bit higher difficulty or whatever, like the normal difficulty, it can be brutal as fuck.
Yeah. I was curious, so I pulled up how long to beat. It looks like for just a normal run, it's about 10 hours. For the main plus extra, it's 30, and for completionist, it's 75. So it seems like there's a lot of variance in the game.
There's a lot of it. Yeah, we're doing one campaign. There's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 other ones, and you can run through with a bunch of different classes and stuff. The neat thing too is like as you go through in the world, you come across these like lore books kind of things or whatever, and it acts as like currency that can unlock other stuff in the game. So you can unlock different encounters that will augment how your next campaign will go. So it'll be like, oh yeah, this is now something you can encounter here, or you use that to unlock another class, like the hobo or whatever. Some of them are only unlocked if you come across this encounter, this character that is in the game. So it makes it very replayable in that sense, and kind of cool that like normal like lore stuff they'd be like, oh yeah, I don't give a shit about. It gives like a reason to go through and get these little lore things because it actually will change the game and unlock other classes for you.
Yeah, I'm curious. I haven't seen anyone play that game by themselves, and so I don't know like how that goes. If it was a game that facilitates a fun with friends type situation, or if it's actually just like truly a fun game to just jump in and see what happens.
I still had fun playing it on my own, but I would suggest to try to play it co-op. Like if you wanted to play it sometime, I'd happily do it. Just because each run is different, you know what I mean?
Right.
And there's a lot of replayability there. It's like a roguelite in that way, where you unlock stuff and you can come back and do it again and do a different run through a campaign.
Cool. And it's been out for a while, right? Like this. I don't know why it popped up.
I think so. I don't think it's particularly super. Yeah. We were looking for stuff to play, and Cletus had played that a while back, but I think when he suggested to play it, there was just a lot of stuff that was coming out at the time. So we decided to give it a shot. I wish it was 4-player co-op. It's only 3-player co-op, but it's one of those games where it feels like it should be a 4-player. I don't know why their decision was to make it 3, but yeah, it was one of those nights where there was like 3 of us around that wanted to do something, so this fit the bill.
Cool. The big game I've been playing is a JRPG, Tales of Arise. spoilers, it's a JRPG. I don't really have anything else to add to
No
that.
way.
You were super stoked about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a full on.
That's what my question was going to be, is like, what is different about it from
It's
all the
JRPG.
other JRPGs that you've...
Yeah, I mean, there's the nuance in it is there's definitely a difference between other JRPGs, but for people that don't play JRPGs, it's like, yeah, it's JRPG. If you don't like them, you're probably not. They didn't do anything to like change your tune on this one.
Mhm.
It's a tried and true Tales game. It's less like, I think, older Tales games, because it's Tales is a series much just like Final Fantasy is a series. None of the games are related, apart from a handful of them. In terms of characters, they're all like fairly unique stories on their own. But a lot of the characters in the older Tales series are like, I wouldn't say like chibi in terms of their size, but they're not full grown humans, I guess is the best way to say, right? Like
They're fun size.
Yeah, they're fun size. That's a good way to say. And this one, they like took a different approach and a brand new game engine. And so this is on UE4. And like they are human sized in this game. And engine wise, I think the game, like the Tales series, has never had a more visually striking game than this one. And just in general, I think this game looks incredible in a lot of the different scenes. There's like 4 or 5 different territories. This is one of the snow ones, or this is the snow one rather, that happens pretty early on. But it's a JSRPG. If you don't like people shouting what abilities they're going to use in combat about 40 times in a single combat round, you're not going to necessarily like this game, because that's probably one of the bigger complaints when people stop by the channel. They're just like, why the fuck are they just saying, what I'm trying to think of a thing that they would say nonstop. Why are they just saying Demon Fang? Just like literally 40 times they're shouting Demon Fang as loud as they possibly can. Can you turn that off? No, you can't.
Demon Fang.
Yes. About 40 times a fight. And if you're fighting a boss, they are also emotive, and they are screaming
Totsugeki! Totsugeki!
It's very much that. Yeah. Yeah. Except in English. And in some ways that makes it more annoying because you don't know what the fuck they're like. If I was playing by myself off stream, I'd probably using the Japanese voice line, or the Japanese voices. Because you can't necessarily understand. It just sounds like noise if you don't speak Japanese, right? If you speak English, you know what they're saying, and you know that they've said Demon Fang about 900 times in this fight. So there's a lot of that, but it's a JSRPG that I'm enjoying. It seems to be one of the better ones to come out in a fairly long time. I'm like 20 hours into it. I think it's around a 35, 40 hour game. And it seems like there's enough going on post game that I'll probably check that out as well, but hope to finish it up this week.
This is just a solo game, right?
Yeah. There's no multiplayer components whatsoever. It's a role-playing game told through the lens of Japan.
I love that that collectively JRPG agreed to halt all development of UI in 2003, and every single, like the menu, the map, like the text boxes, it's like so quintessential iconic JRPG. I love it. It's like it looks so dated and so modern. Like look at the text. 2-3 to 90 damage. It's like,
the funny thing is like that one of the nuances of this game is that it is it's like an evolution of everything that you were just saying, but it's not a change, right? Like they didn't reinvent the wheel.
Don't fix it. I mean, it ain't broken.
They just made it 4K, right? They made it look a little bit prettier. And presentation wise, it's good. But this fight in particular, if I were to unmute, it would be a cacophony of just shouting and screaming of 7 individuals, because this person makes copies of themselves. Yeah. So yeah, that's Tales of Rise. It's very cut and dry. It's a JSRPG. It did in terms of like actual sales, I think this game peaked at like 47 or 48,000 people on Steam, which is like the biggest that Tales has ever had in terms of a launch, and it's more than like every other game combined, I think, in the entire Tales series on Steam or something like that. So it's doing very, very well. Yeah. Which is great. They have made sequels to Tales games, and it seems like this one, story-wise, could potentially have that. It's kind of sci-fi in origin. There's different planets. There's a fucking Death Star or some shit, apparently, that just kind of like looms up in the sky whenever you're rocking around. I don't know if we're going to go to it. But
someone said 60K is the peak now in chat.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Yeah. I hope it continues to do well. Give me more JS RPGs. That's my shit.
Maybe I'll check it out.
I wouldn't do it.
Probably not, but maybe.
I wouldn't do it.
I don't know. Like you said,
if you
it's
somehow like
day.
this more than God of War and this hooks you, I feel like I don't know who you are anymore. In all my years of knowing,
damn it! It always goes back.
It always goes back to it.
God of War is a good game. I like it. I will play it again. And I've told everyone in chat. I'm just like, I'm not gonna say when, because then you guys are just gonna be like, why aren't you playing it? You said within the next week or so. Fuck that,
dude. Like, not a lot of people are gonna get this, but like, you just started to sound like Marvin, like a little bit. I'm gonna play it. Like, it was an RP character he did.
I'm gonna play it eventually, guys. I'm gonna do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he was this nervous guy,
little guy.
I'll play it. I liked it. Okay.
I like the game. I'm gonna play it eventually. Okay, just let me do it in my own way.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, let's talk Artful Escape. Let's do some drugs here with Zeke, because you played this on Indie Sunday, and we've watched a lot of trailers for this. And Carl Weathers is in this game.
He is indeed,
which is fucking wild.
Yeah.
How is Artful Escape? How's it going?
Artful Escape is well, as you might imagine, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful to look at. It has the animations of the character are like jointed puppets, kind of like animation.
Yeah.
God, there's a like an Adult Swim cartoon or something or animated
Crank
show that it reminds me of. No, not Crank Yankers. It's
Space Ghost
is actual hand puppets.
I mean, it reminds me of like Fran Bow or like Little Misfortune Movement.
Sure.
I mean?
Yeah. The thing that I'll say about it could be just me, but man, this game exposition could be cut in like half.
Really?
Like on the front end, there's a lot of slowness. A lot of just like, it doesn't get to the good shit until like, I didn't get to the good shit until about like 45 minutes in. And I know that doesn't seem like, oh, you're attention span, but no, listen, like for this game and what it had after the exposition was so fucking cool and rock and like
it's the gameplay stuff that we've seen, right?
Ziggy Stardust shit.
Yeah,
like it was awesome. Like the music and the sight and the sounds like kicked, but you got to get through this 45 minutes of just like blah. It's really like blah until you get to it. But once you get there, this part, it's fucking awesome. It's really, really cool. And like, I played it for like hour and a quarter, 1.3 hours it says. And when it really kicks, it's fucking cool. Carl Weathers is in it.
What the fuck?
Lena Headey is in it from Game of Thrones.
Right.
Jason Schwartzman from was it Rushmore?
That sounds right.
Or whatever. He does a lot of Wes. It's very Wes Anderson-y. Like the whole kind of experience it starts out very Wes Anderson-y. And then it gets to this part where you like finally it's like what was the Last Starfighter or something? It's like you're the one that can like do all you're the chosen one, and you can do it with the power of fucking rock and roll, baby. And it's like screaming guitars through it, like you're running through these places, like the platforming, and you're like, it's fucking good too, and it matches the mood, and it makes you like it's that kind of rock. You're just like, yeah, this is fucking dope. You're like, yeah, but it starts so slow. It's just my only complaint about the game. I feel like I want to give it another chance. I want to continue where I left off because Indie Day is kind of about like giving everything, hour, 2 hours somewhere in there, and then moving on to the next thing to give, show off some as much as we can to get a good chunk. But like, I was excited after I got to once I walked through this door. You're seeing the moment
The
where I
moment
walk through that door, and then it's just like game changed. Like, this is not the same thing that I picked up. But yeah, it's the music is fucking excellent in it. Like the backing tracks, how they match, like, because you can whip out your guitar and start doing a solo along with whatever's going on in the background, and it matches like beautifully. It's so good, and it's like it's melodic, it matches, it fits, and it's also like driving. It's very motivating, like sound design. And that's Carl Weathers, by the way, the
right.
character you're looking at there. And his voice acting is great.
Who does Lena Headey or whatever play?
Lena Headey was that big face. You see that big head with the face on it? That's her. She's this cosmic being that talks to you in Lena Headey's voice. Great. But yeah, it's let's see. It is developed by Beethoven and Dinosaur, published by Annapurna. So they got a little cash behind them. It is $19.99 on sale right now for $17.99.
It's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass?
Yeah.
Excellent. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Cool.
Check it out.
That's why I know about it.
Yep. On Game Pass.
Got about 15 minutes, Zeke. I know you played a bunch. Sometimes on Indie Sunday, you got some stinkers here. Where should we go here with the time remaining? We got Don't Touch This Button, Arborea. Clarence goes to the
do you
fucking
want a
store.
Stinker?
Don't Touch This Button is good.
Do you want a stinker or do you want a good one?
Let's get one of both.
Okay. Let's go with let's start with the stinker then and go with Psych.
Psych.
Yeah. Psych is okay. Preface, as always. The game is in early access. And it's very indie. And it doesn't seem like it's finished. Like there is a lot of walking and like boredom in between going from one place to the next. It's supposed to be like this horror thriller kind of vibe to it, but you're dropped in and experience the story of Alexander Green and find out what happened on the day of the accident in this first-person horror adventure. Follow the development of Alex, solve puzzles around the event, and try not to fall into madness as you search for answers. The only madness that you probably fall into is figuring out how to quickest shut down the game. I mean, it's just not finished. That's the thing. There's not enough like scares or intensity or thrill or anything like that. The controls are a little funky. Like I was trying to hang up this fucking phone, and in order to do it, there it is.
That's awful.
I had to move the cursor to the right, and then like a thing showed up, and it was like, "What is that?" Oh, that's how I. Come on now.
Nice.
Come on now. Yeah. So I mean, it's not finished yet. It's the story is like they do some cool stuff with ghostly like voices and stuff that you hear here and there. There was one decent jump scare where you like hear a voice behind you. You're like, whoa, and you turn around and you hear the voice behind you again. You're like, whoa. Turn the voice like, whoa. And then you hear it one more time, and by that time you're like, oh, I'm just gonna see, and then there's something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that was good. That was pretty good. But yeah, anyway.
That's
moving
Psych.
on.
Okay.
That's like, yep.
Meant to be like a little spooky game then?
Yeah. It's supposed to be like thrilling horror survival, running away from bad guys, figuring out mysteries, but I didn't care to figure out any mysteries.
Where to?
Oh, is there? Go to Don't Touch This Button.
Don't Touch This Button. Okay. Also approved by Tucker. So this game's good.
Yeah. Don't Touch This Button.
This is not the game that I played.
I think you're thinking of
Don't Push This Button 3D.
Yeah, there's another game with a similar name where you're just in like a static room. Right? Yeah, that game. This game is Don't Touch This Button, and it's a puzzle game. It's a modular level by level puzzle game. I think there was 62 or 63 puzzles. I played it for it says 1.7 hours, and I got through all of them. It's a relatively short experience, but it's I like games that like tell you one thing and you do the opposite and you like win. This is kind of that. It's the chalkboard there. It says watch your step, but it's the opposite. They mean the opposite. Like, what does the opposite of watch your step mean? And this room probably took me one of the longest. And I was like, what is a watch your step? So, I mean, don't watch my step. Don't be careful. Or like, what? And then you figure out like, oh, that's what they meant by watch your step. Or don't watch your step. And that's throughout the levels. It's not like super atmospheric or anything like that. It's just, straightforward, just puzzle game.
Yeah.
And you'll get like blackboards that say like the vases don't matter. You're like, okay, so the vases do matter. What does that mean? You figure that out, and then you figure out the button to press to get through the next thing. And why it's called "Don't Touch This Button" is because the very first room, the blackboard says, "Don't touch this button." You touch the button, door opens, you go in. So you're like, oh, gotcha. Blackboard's lying. And it lies in every room, and it's great. I had a good time with it. It didn't take that long, but it is $4.
Sweet. $4?
$4. Oh, yeah.
That might be worth it. That might
Not
be
bad.
worth it. Well, cool. Anyone, we got 8 minutes. Anyone got a game they want to just mention here that you played?
Zeke wanted to talk about Mass Effect. Someone mentioned that earlier.
Oh, yeah. What was the Mass Effect thing for Max?
I just wanted to know, like, I played through the 3. Like, is it worth like going through them again with the new shit?
When was the last time you played it?
Oh man, it had to be
like originally, like forever ago.
No, not originally.
The fact that you're thinking,
so it was like 6 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it to play through them.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very
Why?
cool. Why? Well, they're solid games on their own, and you get to relive them, especially like the first one and stuff, and just everything looks better. They've tweaked it enough to the point where it's enjoy. I don't know. If you like those games a lot, it looks good, and they haven't tampered with it too much. In the first one too, they've tweaked it a little bit, like certain things, so it just runs a bit better. It's a little less clunky, so you can kind of get that same really goodness of the Mass Effect 1 story, which is, in my opinion, has probably the best story of all 3. And yeah, you just get that extra shine and finish on it.
How many times have you beat those games?
A lot of times. I don't know.
You don't even know that
Max
many?
is a giant Mass Effect fan.
It's probably in like a dozen or so, like for all 3 full loop.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean I'm just saying, like, even for my favorite game series, I'd probably be like maybe 3 times.
Because I've played them on stream several times through, but I've also played them a lot offline too, especially when they like first came out. Like I just ran through. It was really fun.
Nice.
Maybe a little less than dozen. Dozen sounds like maybe a little high because it's pretty long to get through all 3 of them, but a lot of times.
So does that mean your
definitely
hype level for like whatever this next Mass Effect thing is like 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10?
It's not the same BioWare. No, they fucked it. They fucked up with Andromeda. I don't have much hope for it.
Oh, really?
That said, I hope it's good. I want it to be good, but am I going to go and be like, oh my God, Mass Effect, dude? When Mass Effect Andromeda was coming up, I did like a whole fucking hype video that I narrated and edited together from like previous stuff. Like, now we're going to go to Andromeda. This is fucking awesome. And then it was that dog pile of shit that came out. You know what? If Andromeda wasn't a Mass Effect game, we would have been like, that's a pretty cool game. That's neat. Whatever. Some cool mechanics in there. Fighting's pretty good, like that sort of deal. But the fact that it was a Mass Effect game, it just wasn't what it should have been
good
in terms of a Mass Effect game.
I liked it.
Just wasn't.
I don't know.
Good.
I didn't have a problem with Andromeda. I didn't think it was.
That's because you have terrible taste in video games.
That's fair. That's fair. I might have terrible taste in video games.
I might even say horrible taste in video games. There's a lot of people that say that, and honestly, if you're not to that, I'd say if you're not that invested in Mass Effect and stuff, and you are not like a diehard fan of the series, I guess the stuff that they didn't get right, maybe is, like I say, it's an okay game. It's a terrible Mass Effect game. I knew we were in trouble when I played. I always this is my go-to example. I was playing it on like some of the first missions for like tutorial and stuff. One of like the side characters goes like, "Oh, I think I really pissed that guy off. probably because I shot him in the face. And I was like, oh, fuck me.
Dude, that's a high five line for me. I'm like, yeah, I would high five that guy so hard.
Oh, jeez.
I would create a mass relay. Our high five would be so good.
Well, the beauty of the earlier games and stuff, and the way the Mass Effect was done, you can just tell a lot more attention to detail was put into the actual writing, the dialogue, and the way the dialogue and stuff played out. It was a lot more cinematic. They took the time to like have the camera cut to different things, not just zoom in over shoulder to any person you talk to, and sometimes it's wonky and you can't even see who the fuck you're talking to. Like they actually handcrafted these encounters and interactions that you had. And because of that, the dialogue and everything shined a whole lot more because it did have good writing, coupled with that cinematography and intentional cuts, you know.
Yeah.
Now, Andromeda was the one that was
copy paste, zooming over shoulder.
Andromeda was the one that was famously like the mouth movements didn't match, right?
Oh yeah, and that's the other thing. It's just like all this other weird, wonky, fucking leg running stuff, and like these odd ass facial animations. And most of the time, people look like they have no soul and they're not really emoting, coupled with the other stuff and terrible writing.
I will definitely concur with that.
I think I have a new favorite thing. My new favorite thing is watching people that are passionate about an IP shit on a bad version of that IP.
Next time you have you on, we'll talk about Picard.
There's got to be a German word for that. Whatever the German word for that is, I love it.
Probably.
Do you do that with anything from the MCU there, JP?
No, I'm kind of like an MCU apologist. Even like the worst movies, I'll still go to bat for. I don't know what I would. Maybe like Final Fantasy. I do that every once in a while on Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, probably like that would probably be the one thing that I'd shit on. But it's only okay because I'm a super fan of it, so I can shit on it. Like if someone else shits on it and they're not a fan of it, then I'll tell them they're wrong and idiots. And yeah, so I think that's close to it.
And for all you saying Schadenfreude, it's not the word he was looking for. He was looking for a brand new word.
Yeah, brand new word.
Schadenfreude is just like a good example of a word that a lot of other places don't have.
Accurate. Yeah. Yeah, Iron Fist.
What about you?
Iron Fist is one for me.
Oh, Iron Fist.
I shit all over Iron Fist, but I still watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, through and through. Jericho, do you have anything like that?
No, I mean, if it's music, yeah. For games, I don't love an IP enough. Like Call of Duty, for the last 5 years, I've been like, this game's pretty not great, guys. I like the game engine, but like, overall, I'm not playing it very much. So no, thankfully, I'm not gatekeeping.
What about a question? Since I'm not sure next time I'll have you on the show, Max and Jericho. But what are you guys most excited for this fall in terms of releases? Big releases you got coming out from now till December-ish, or if you even want to count the beginning of next year, what are you most excited for?
I don't even know what's coming out still.
That's my thing. We talked about earlier. Yeah. Like I don't pay attention enough that far out in advance anymore, just because.
I'll throw some names at you. Let's see here. I got a list.
I don't want to get hurt. Yeah, you tell me what's coming out, and I'll tell you what on that list I like the most.
We got Far Cry 6, maybe. We got
sure. I mean, I will play it.
We got Metroid Dread. Yeah. We got Back 4 Blood. We got Battlefield 2042. We got Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Age of Empires 4, Call of Duty Vanguard, Forza 5, Forza Horizon 5.
I'm looking forward to Forza.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll mess with that too.
Lost Judgment for me. Outer Wilds DLC, UnMetal. Like, I'm looking forward to all those.
We got Halo Infinite, December 8th. Max, where are you on the Halo hype right now? It's probably the only other like Halo head that I know.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. It seems like I'm cautiously optimistic with what I've seen and stuff when they followed up with after the whole hullabaloo.
Yeah,
of it being very underwhelming looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited for Battlefield too, because I know we'll play that too. As
we got to play a bunch of Battlefield. We got to do that.
That'd be cool.
Is Jericho? You're probably the most up to date on this. Is it confirmed that it's happening next week? That the beta is happening next week?
As far as I know, there's no indication the beta is being delayed, and I don't think that they need, because the delay that is rumored, it's not. It seems more like a procedural delay and not like a something broke.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah. I feel like the game is done. It's just tweaks.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can call it a show. We can do some shout outs and wrap this thing up. As usual, Zeke, you want to start us off? Do some shout outs.
I love being first. Because you ain't first, you're last. I'm telling you right now. All right. My name is Ezekiel III. You can find me at or / Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Ezekiel III all spelled out on Instagram and TikTok if you want little 1-minute videos and you're on those platforms. I will be broadcasting tomorrow. I won't be doing anything tonight, but I will be broadcasting tomorrow, starting with a sponsor stream of a new game called Game Deck. I played about an hour and change of it a little bit ago, and now they're getting ready to hype up the release. So I'm excited to check out what the updated version of the game and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna start the day off with a little sponsored show, a couple hours of that, and then might move into more Dragonfall, Shadowrun Dragonfall. And then, that's what I got coming up for this week and Indie Sunday. And that's what I got. So thank you very much, Jericho and GassyMexican, for joining us today. And thank you, JP, and happy motherfucking birthday.
Thank you.
That's all.
Max, you're jumping on a
Hello,
boat.
it's me. Yeah, I'm literally after this call, I'm going to go jump on a boat.
What a cool guy.
I'll probably be back tomorrow. I think I was going to consider coming back tonight, but I'll probably be too tired, I'd imagine, just being out in the sun and stuff. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'll see you guys again probably in like a year when he decides to have me on the show.
You've been on the show like
Maybe
20
sooner.
times. What are you even talking about?
Yeah, it's fun to be on. Happy birthday, by the way. I didn't actually know it was your birthday. I was like in the beginning with Zeke. I was like, is this a bit or not? And then I had to go to Twitter and I'm like, oh, it's doing the balloons thing. It is his birthday. Happy birthday,
Unless
buddy.
that's a lie.
Thank you for not making me explain the joke. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's also good.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. You can check me out if you want to on all the things over. Am I going to get it right? Yep, over there. Probably be back tomorrow. Definitely going to check out Deathloop and stuff in lieu of seeing all the stuff and hearing some more in-depth feedback about it. And plus it's arcane and I like those games. Other than that, see me on the internet. Okay, go to Jericho. Go to Jerry.
Jerry, do some shout outs.
Streaming super late tonight because I got dinner plans and stuff after this, like early dinner plans. I am playing Call of Duty tomorrow because that is the beta. No, I have early dinner plans at 4:30 or late lunch. I don't care.
Just early dinner.
I'm being a dick. Sorry for interrupting.
It's fine. I'm playing Call of Duty on Thursday because that's going to be good. Fridays we don't play games. We look at memes, and then the weekend, who knows? Probably more Call of Duty until I realize that there's not much to do in the beta. So, still desperately waiting for a game to fill more than 2 streams. Which Deathloop, I'll play it Saturday. I don't know if it's going to be. It's a short game, so I need something. I don't know what it is, but I need something.
There you go. Jerry needs something. What do we got going on here? I think there's like a THQ event that will be restreaming on Friday. Me and Jesse Cox will be checking out the Final Fantasy 14 Letter from the Producer live on Friday night. I think that starts at 7 p.m. PST, 10 p.m. Eastern, so that'll be a late night. And then probably between now and then, just more Tales of Arise with the JP and Trailer Time sprinkled in at the start of every stream. So that is what we got going on. We should be back next week, I would think, for another Drop Frames. I don't see why not. We'll get some guests figured out and keep on trucking along. So Max, Jerry, thanks for being on the shows. Good luck to you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a couple months here, maybe. Depends. I don't know. Today was kind of brutal. I might have to knock you back a little bit. Just like
we added to the show.
I want to know how God of War is going. I want to know. I want the check-in.
All right, we'll do a check-in then with Max, and
just do one like a remote, like man on the street, like Max, how's God of War going?
Yeah, that'll be worth it. I got to sponsor him though. Do you want to sponsor him this time, Zeke? I already did it. It's 20% off, dude. September.
He said I had bad taste in games, so he can go fuck himself.
Touche.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. We'll see you next time. We're out of here. Thanks for watching Drop Frames. Have a good one. Bye-bye.